Hey, you're muted, CJ. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? This is the NFC West Roundtable. This is your boy CG hosting the NFC West Roundtable, and we got our boy, the AZ Sports Fan, and our boy Sheriff Joe Bag, and we already know Steezy A Smith is always late. So let's get on to the topic, man. Can't wait for another episode, man. The wild card week. This is going to be an interesting week. Let's get on to the preview game of what happened for this Sunday's game. Let's look at that matchup, man. So we'll definitely go on to Sheriff Joe Bag's reaction of that Niners game. I mean, it was bummer.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that actually goes into this game. And, I mean, we'll start it with crediting the 49ers for taking care of business, man. I was feeling pretty good going into that game. And, honestly, as the game went on, we all know the story. It was 17-0 Rams, and then just kind of started letting them come back, and then, you know, kind of brought it back up again and got that sweet touchdown in the corner with Cooper Kupp. And then, of course, Jimmy hitting that last drive there. I mean, not a whole lot to say there, but great play by Jimmy Garoppolo. Definitely credit where credit's due. One thing that I like about this matchup in this game that we had in Week 18 was, you know, we know that the Rams don't really match up well with the 49ers, and I think that first quarter, that really showed us a lot about this team being able to come out and be that physical with the 49ers and taking that lead. It's just unfortunate. I got a little bit more frustrated with Raheem Morris again, just because he did go soft defense. And I mean, it was simple stuff that the 49ers were doing, just that zone run. And it seemed like Raheem just wasn't addressing that or adjusting to that in any way. And you see just frustration start to get there, you know, defensive players getting a little exhausted and stuff like that. And then just wasn't enough, man. So definitely credit to the 49ers, but we knew it was a tough matchup, and I'm looking forward to these playoffs, though, man. NFC West champs, gotta love that. Absolutely, I'm stoked about it. And now we get into the postseason. That's what we all wanted, and we get a home game, first playoff game to be held at SoFi. So that'll be some good stuff, man.
Yeah, this game kind of was a surprise. The beginning of the game, you know, it kind of seemed like, oh, man, turn it off. But now, second half, we started playing better. But in the beginning, we were showing some struggles. You guys were playing fast. You guys were playing physical. I was surprised that this Rams team was coming to play. The last time we played you guys, we beat the brakes out of you guys, and then we play at your home field. But the funny part about it was, I've heard what McVay and Stafford were concerned about was that crowd noise. Like, damn, dude, they were more concerned about the red crowd, man. It was super loud. I was stoked about how this fan was so loud. Like, the game could have gone either way in the second half, and it was on the edge of my seat. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I almost had a heart attack on that game. I was like, oh, man, we're not gonna get there. We're not gonna get there. And then I seen these plays by Juwan Jennings, man. That guy was just stepping up in the big moments, and the game wasn't too big for him. But the fact that the Rams, they were giving us a good fight. And even though you guys won your division, I guess you can call it the best moral victory, because the Cardinals didn't get the job done. They didn't even beat the Seahawks. So I look at that game like, man, don't worry about it, Rams. You got your division. You can take it. We're going to go focus on the Dallas Cowboys. You know, I always wanted Dallas, and that's the game I was looking forward to. Like, can it be any other way we can get to the playoffs and play the Cowboys? I love that feeling that we get to play the Cowboys in the playoffs. So this is the best wild card week, is to play the Dallas Cowboys. I hate that team. Like, no disrespect to you guys. I just hate the Dallas Cowboys with a freaking passion. And I just don't hate any other team but the Cowboys. But let's go on to the Cardinals. See how you felt about that game against the Seahawks, man.
Cool. I don't know if you want to get into that super chat first, because
I can address that for you real fast before we head over. But hey, Corey, thanks so much for being here, man. Appreciate your super chat and you watching us here. But do I want the 49ers to lose to the Cowboys so we don't have to face them again? Not necessarily, man. I think that what this game did show us is that we can play with the 49ers. It is a bad matchup, but if we show up to play, we can play with them and we can stay with them. We just have to do it for 4 quarters. We just can't let them come back. So not necessarily, no. I would say that I like the matchup between the Rams and the Cowboys, so I would like to see them move on if that is the case for the Rams, because I think that we could take that matchup. So no, man, I'm not necessarily worried. And I just want to address one quick on the crowd. Definitely more 49ers fans and Rams fans from our perspective here on television, stuff like that, man. But what I will say is it is what it is. It's going to take a few years. The Rams left Los Angeles, and a lot of those fans picked other teams. It's going to take a few years before generations of people growing up, going to Rams games every weekend, stuff like that, before they become Rams fans, and then it blows up. So it is what it is. The Rams fans are not going to have a strong fan base for a few years. We can keep commenting it on if we want to, but that's just the way it is. LA is a place with people from all over, so we're always going to see that.
We got Steezy in the building, man. Oh man, this is interesting, man. Finally, you're finally here, man. 16 people in the building. It feels great. Hey, we own SoFi Stadium. This might as well become Levi Self. It's kind of dope. I mean, I got to admit, the stadium looks pretty nice from what I was looking at. So, what was your reaction of that game? AZ against the Seahawks, man. Were you disappointed at the outcome of the game? You guys had the opportunity to win that division. We took care of the Rams. You guys couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I know. And I appreciate you, man. All 49er fans that are in the house right now. I know this is a 49er channel. You guys held up your end of the bargain. I appreciate you guys for doing that. But yeah, we just couldn't get the job done. And it kind of seems like one of those situations where we've kind of alluded, and we talked about it on the round table, where I hated the thought of, oh boy, here we go. We're going to Seattle. We're going to beat them. And then, they're coming here and they're going to beat us. But I hate bringing up history, but it definitely seems like it always repeats itself. And here goes the Cardinals again, going down a decline. The good part and the bright spot of the season so far is that we are in the playoffs. So we definitely got to give, little kudos to the Cardinal organization for that. And the reason why I say little is because we have so many fans right now that are so, I guess the best word of saying it is snake bitten. Like, we really feel like we put in our 110% emotion into this, starting off 7-0, having the NFC West in a chokehold, and we let it go. Like, we literally, whatever, no focus. I don't know what it is with this organization. And we'll talk about this wild card weekend here. A very, very, good matchup against the Rams, but we'll dive into that later. But yeah, I'm definitely bummed out, man. I'm bummed out that the Cardinals couldn't, take a grasp of this NFC West, where I really did think that they were going to be able to do it against the struggling Seahawks, but I definitely should have known, right? I'm a Cardinal fan, and the Seahawks coming to State Farm Stadium usually means bad news for the Cardinals. So we ended up losing 38-30, but it all kind of came down to that first half. I felt like the Cardinals defense started off really good. We had Chandler Jones with the strip fumble or sack fumble. It looked good. You know what I mean? We had a scoop and score by Zach Allen. Everything was looking good. I was like, man, this defense is coming to play today. We want this division. That's what I thought. Right after that, kind of seems like the wheels fell off. The offense could never really get into a rhythm on the first half. Yes, we got it going in the second half, but it was a little too late. The run game just basically took us down, and the rest is history at that point. All I can think of is, hey, we're 0-0 right now. We're in the playoffs, and that's where my mindset's right now.
Yeah, I'd like to give a huge shout out to 49ers Ultimate Report for the 199 super chat. Appreciate it. What's your reaction of that game, Steezy? You must have been really excited about that outcome.
Yeah, first of all, man, I haven't seen you guys in a while, so happy 2022. Miss doing this with you guys, but that aside, man, I was ecstatic. I mean, how could you not? But like Mike said, for as bad as it usually ends up as far as results for the Cardinals, for us, I could say the same, but for injuries. It just seems like every time we're over there, someone's always, we can never leave unscathed. Earl Thomas has gotten hurt, Jimmy Lane, Stephen Hauschka used to have a bunch of kicking woes in that very season. And obviously, like you guys all know, ending the Super Bowl 49 happened in that very stadium. And so I feel like we can never walk away unscathed, even though we do tend to pick up our W's over there. But Arizona's just been a team, they've been better on the road this year, for whatever weird reason. I think you guys only lost one game on the road. And so that combined with the fact that, Seattle didn't have anything to play for, but they did have pride. And there were a lot of players that were playing for either their jobs, incentives and whatnot. And so it was to end the season. It definitely leaves a great taste in my mouth. I'm not going into the offseason on a note. And it definitely, I feel like it doesn't change the complexion of things. It doesn't change the dynamics of things. Obviously Russ's future still has to be addressed, as with Coach Pete Carroll. But I think that the way that we were kind of able to end the season off with a bang, I think that bodes well for next year. And maybe it gives Russell Wilson a little bit of confidence, a little bit of faith. Maybe we start to look back, and maybe if he didn't miss those games due to injury, maybe if he didn't have to play so injured, how different would the season have ended up being. And so maybe with that much uncertainty, maybe Russ doesn't want to leave on like this. What if he's like, I got to run it back one more time. I got to give him a chance. And so I don't think anything's definitive right now. But Rashad Penny, I mean, there's a reason why he was drafted in the first round. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And so now that we've kind of seen flashes of that, I think he ran for almost 700 yards in the last 5 weeks. And that was 208 more than the next closest guy. And so people also don't take into account the fact that we didn't have a rookie. Chris Carson only played 4 games. And so in the games that Penny did play, we played pretty spectacularly. I think there are a lot of things to kind of look to. I think the future is a little brighter than what people initially thought. And I can't wait to see what happens in the offseason. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be covered. And, great way to end the season.
Yeah, it must be feeling really good about those kind of games, but it's too bad you guys are just going to miss the playoffs. But something to look forward to. Maybe there's a chance that you work out something with the two of the players, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, because I'm hearing a lot of this toxic drama that may not go away throughout the offseason. But how do you feel about going into next year that you might still have your best quarterback coming back?
I think anytime you have a back as good as Russell Wilson, top 5, top 7, whatever you guys want to, quantify him as, I think that's a great feeling. I think a lot of the things that people have been looking to, or a lot of the things that have been, putting people down is the fact that, Russ might or might not come back. And just the fact that his status is in limbo, I think that's enough reason to worry. But I also, I have a little bit more faith than I did, earlier in the year, just because, like I said, not only were we able to end off on a great note, but I think some of the young guys really stepped up, not just Rashad Penny. I think right tackle Curhan, I think he might be the future at right tackle. We started using Kobe Parkinson a little bit more down the stretch. Tyler Lockett set a career high on receiving yards. And so despite not having so many pieces, Bobby Wagner didn't play. Jamal Adams obviously hasn't been in the lineup. Trey Brown hasn't been in the lineup. Ryan Neal wasn't in the lineup. Quandre Diggs obviously got injured there. And so I thought the play of the younger guys was great. It was phenomenal. And Jordan Brooks had 20 tackles that game. Cody Barton, he looked solid. And so I think we have a lot of pieces to kind of work around Russell Wilson. We're not going to have a whole bunch of draft picks, but I think people also forget that Seattle's going to be top, I think, 7 in terms of cap space. Seattle's going to have up to about $53 million, not including, guys that might get restructured, guys that might get cut. Bobby Wagner, I don't think he's coming back at $20 million a year. And so there's potential to have even more cap space than the $53 million that we're projected to have. And so I think Russ, he wouldn't be making a terrible decision to maybe run it back and stick around for one more year. I don't know about Pete, but as far as Russ is concerned, I'm definitely excited.
Okay, that's something to look optimistic, but let's get on to the preview of these next games. I got it down here. So we'll start off with me personally with the Niners versus Cowboys playoff game. This is definitely don't you think it might be the game of the year in the playoffs that everybody wants to see? This is like a renewed rivalry that hasn't happened in 27 years.
No.
Oh, you guys are not looking for it? one of the best rivalries in all of sports, in my opinion, when it comes to the playoffs. But I look at this matchup, it's something that I look forward to because my mother is a Cowboys fan. My dad was a Cowboys fan. My other family's in between. It's all house divided between Niners and Cowboys. This is like one of the weeks that I look forward to. When you look at this matchup, man, this is a physical team that's playing hot at the right time. And I know I've had my doubts during the season, and I was kind of like thinking, hopefully I'm wrong about it. There's been times where I kind of been putting Jimmy down a lot of times. You've seen me on the chats, been throwing Jimmy under the bus constantly, been bashing him, been saying crap. I know it kind of gets annoying to some people. I was kind of like saying, man, let's move on. But then there's been times where I've been kind of like saying, I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry for doubting you. It's kind of been one of those roller coaster seasons, but You look at the Dallas Cowboys. They are a team that's kind of played good against their division. They've dominated their division, but when they played some other teams outside of division, they are 6-5. So I've seen them play against physical brand teams and they failed. So I think we're going to come on the road as a hot team. We play better on the road. If you look at our home record, we are not exactly a good team at home. So when we play on the road, we have a better record. So I feel confident about this game that we have something going forward into the season because we're in the playoffs and we got something to play for. So we're going to play as spoilers. We're going to play as a hot team and we're going to peak at the right time. So when I look at this matchup, the Dallas Cowboys, they don't like playing against physical teams. And we are physical, we are scary, and we're going to come at the right time. So when I look at this matchup, the Niners should be able to win this game. So the Niners should be able to win 31-24. I think we're just going to dominate the Dallas Cowboys on the time of possession. We're going to be able to pressure on Dak Prescott at the end of the fourth quarter, and it's going to determine the factor of this game. So what do you think, Sheriff Joe Bag, on this game?
I mean, this is definitely a classic matchup if you look in the history of the NFL, but being that I am a fan of a team that is in the playoffs, this is not the game that I'm most looking forward to. For this matchup, though, you absolutely nailed it, man. Yeah, the 49ers are an extremely physical team, and so far the Cowboys have struggled with that this season. They are 6-0 against their own division, 6-5 outside of it. So I do also have that same bit of information in why I'm not impressed with the Cardinals win over the Cowboys, because I just don't think that they're that good of a team. I think they're a little bit of frauds. So, but going back to the matchup, I think that the 49ers come in here and absolutely just dominate time of possession in the ground game. We saw it coming in that Shanahan was saying that if you want to beat the Rams, you need to run the football 30 times and then hopefully 40. But I think that same exact mindset should carry over into Dallas in this game, and I think that's exactly what they will do, and I think it leads to a dominating performance. I'm not sure if this Dak-led offense is really built to come back like that if the 49ers are just controlling time of possession. So one thing, though, that if for the Dallas Cowboys, if they can force some mistakes by the 49ers early, and maybe Jimmy G, I'm sure he's going to be the starter. But if they can force him into some mistakes, then they also have the ability to control time of possession with Pollard and Zeke. And then they do have some decent weapons there. CeeDee Lamb, obviously, for Prescott. So I do think that the 49ers win this game. I don't think it's going to be as close as CG even has it. I think that the 49ers win this game by probably about the 13 range. I don't actually have a number in my head, but I'm gonna go 33-20. I think that the 49ers get this one done decently easy.
So we call it a curb stump approval?
I guess.
All right, curb stump approval. There you go. All right, so Steezy, AZ, you're next.
Cool. All right, yeah, so just to kind of, back up on what I was saying in terms of snow. I agree that this is a classic matchup, just kind of what Joe was saying, but that was like 90s type of stuff. But this is going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to see what happens. This is going to be the matchup that I can really see the lower seed beat the higher seed. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because I'm the lower seed here and I'm filling a higher seed. So let me backtrack on what I just said there. But this is going to be a tough matchup for the Cowboys. You guys are riding on really, really hot. And I think that's going to be, to your advantage. But I'm going to have to throw a wrench here, man. I'm going to go with the Cowboys, although everything's pointing towards, San Francisco winning, especially because that last game that they did against the Rams. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going to say it's going to be a very, very, close matchup. I'm going to say 33-30 Cowboys win.
Okay. Totally understandable. Okay. Steezy, you're next.
Man, this one's tough. But I'm going to have to lean towards the Niners here. I just feel like with them coming in, I think they're the hotter team. I think they might – I don't know if they're the better team, but I do know that these teams are pretty evenly matched, and I know with Dallas, like Joe mentioned, they do have the capability to, control the clock, control the ball and run the football themselves. But Tony Pollard tore his plantar fascia in his foot a couple weeks ago. He hasn't been the same. Ezekiel Elliott, he ran for over 1,000 yards on a year, but as the season progressed, I I didn't see that same explosion. I didn't see that same burst. I didn't see the same Ezekiel Elliott. The offensive line has been banged up. And so you also take away a Michael Gallup. While he was their number 3 receiver, he was also part of what made that offense so lethal. And so I think you take him away, the Cowboys' strength offensively, it's not as strong as it once was a couple of weeks ago. Because I think that the Niners, their one biggest weakness on defense is, that play in the secondary. But because you guys have such a great pass rush, led by Nick Bosa, I don't know. I mean, I want to lean, towards Dallas's direction, but about San Fran is telling me to lean towards San Fran. I feel like Elijah Mitchell is going to run it down the throats. Deebo Samuel had a passing touchdown last week. I mean, what? We thought he was a running back wide receiver hybrid. Now he's out here throwing touchdown passes. And so, while the Cowboys do have a Trevon Diggs who led the league in picks, he's by no means a shutdown cornerback. I think we've all talked about this before, but if you pay attention to some of his, his grades and coverage, if you guys look at Pro Football Focus, some of those numbers and statistics don't really favor him. And I know some of that could be inflated because of the volume. He's, I guess, their only real corner on that team. Guys are going to go after him, but he's not a true shutdown corner by any means. And so I haven't even gotten to George Kittle yet. Who's going to, cover George Kittle? The Dallas Cowboys defense, they have playmakers. They have guys that can get after the quarterback, but is that sustainable? When they're not getting sacks, when they're not forcing turnovers, when they're not opportunistic, are they getting stops? Are they getting consistent stops? Are they, stopping teams from getting down the field and scoring points? I don't think so, And so while they were, they had a great year, I don't trust the defense fully enough to say that, that gives them a good chance of winning. And so I'm going to lean towards San Fran here, like I said at the beginning. I just feel like with Kyle Shanahan, he's obviously going to want to run the football. Jimmy G has to limit mistakes. If Dallas is able to get a turnover or two, the game's probably over. But I'm going to have to lean San Fran in a very close one. I think it's tight all the way up until the end. And I'm going to say San Fran 27 to Dallas 26.
So it'll be a close game. So that's how you see it. Definitely. I mean, I don't know. I just think the Cowboys are the most overrated team. Like, you look at the competition, and it's not coming from a Niner fan just being harsh and being homerish, but who have they beat? Who have they really beat? Like, we beat the Bengals. We beat the Rams twice, and the Rams are a far better team than the Cowboys. Who have the Cowboys beat? The Patriots before they were even peaking. That's about as good as a team they beat. We beat the Cincinnati freaking Bengals. That team's a hot team right now. They are a really good football team. But now that we look at that matchup, look at the Cardinals and Rams matchup. I'll let you go first, Joe.
This is a solid matchup, man. For our third meeting of the season, we split this season, so it makes it even better. We got to break that tie. Each team winning on the road, so neither home team has won in this matchup this season. The Rams, the last time that we played the Arizona Cardinals, it was also on a Monday night game, which I'm not thrilled to have the Monday night wild card game, by the way. That sucks. We're guaranteed to have a short week. Whoever wins is guaranteed to have a short week the following week, and I think that's lame. Either way, at least it looks like that would hopefully be the Sunday game. Maybe the NFL would do that for us, but looking at this game, the last time we played Monday Night Football, the Rams were down a lot of people. Didn't have Higbee, didn't have Ramsey. We learned that just a couple hours before the game, and it just felt like that team took that next man up, that like, we got to make up for this. We lost our stars kind of thing. I think that they really took that and ran with it, and I think we just need that same attitude out of this one. You saw a guy like Aaron Donald in that one just really turn on and have one of his Aaron Donald days. And we just need that kind of performance again, man. And I like where this team is at right now. And we're going against what I would consider the coldest team in the NFC coming in. Every team in the NFC is 4-1 in their last 5, except for the Arizona Cardinals, who are 1-4, and their one win being that Dallas game, which I just don't really buy that. I don't really buy that as that impressive of a victory. This Rams team, the only one that we lost in these last 5 was, of course, the San Francisco 49ers, but we know that that's a tough matchup for us. So that's excuse me. But I don't know. You just look at two different teams in kind of just two different spots right now. You got the Arizona Cardinals, who I think are just on shaky ground right now, and I think you can feel that in their fan base. That there's a lot of nerves with the fan base right now in Arizona. I don't see a lot of. Usually, I would expect the trash talk to be glaring right now. It's only from Niners fans, who we're probably not going to see again this season. We are going to see the Cardinals next week, so. To see basically everybody just like, hey, man, hope for a good game. Like that just tells me that there's not a lot of confidence in that fan base. And right now on the Rams side, there's not a lot of, I guess, celebrating from the Rams fan base. Not a lot of fans that I've seen are celebrating the NFC West win like I myself am. We won the NFC West. I don't care. That's amazing. We talk about this as being one of the best divisions in football, if not the. So, yeah, I'm stoked that we won the West. But coming off that loss to the Niners, man, I think that this team knows that they are definitely immortal, and coming off of the 4-game winning streak into that game, that's got to leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. And if you guys heard, McVay's comments on losing right before the playoffs, excuse my language here, but he said it doesn't mean shit, and it doesn't. I think that losing that game doesn't define anything, and I'm excited for this game. I think the Rams come out and play the hell out of the Arizona Cardinals. And I think the Rams win this one by a score. I'm going to go ahead and go 34-23. I think that the Rams do take care of business, but obviously that Arizona Cardinals team is no joke. They get J.J. Watt back. I'm guessing he might be playing in this one. That's impressive. But, like I said last time, we had to go against DeAndre Hopkins and didn't have Jalen Ramsey, and you flip that now, and I feel a lot better about this Rams team coming in.
So we're calling it a curb stomp then in your analogy. So okay.
Sure.
All right, we got that approved right there. Joe Beggs has been putting curb stomps these kind of games, but let's get on to AZ on this matchup.
Yeah, man, I think Joe said it perfectly, man. The fan base right now is on shaky grounds. We don't really know exactly what we have in terms of confidence level in this Cardinals team. Now we have the fans that are always going to be positive regardless of what happens. They like to look at the the big picture, which is, hey, we're in the playoffs. This is the first time we've done this since 2015, and a lot of people like to hang their hat on. Me personally, I would not like to think of my team being a one and done, but the real possibility of that is a possibility for this Cardinal team. I don't know exactly where the focus was lost, but this game is going to really come down to like what team are we going to see? Like what team are we going to see this coming Monday? And I agree with you, Joe. I don't like this Monday night game. I do not like it at all. I hate it. Not only we're going to have a short week, but Cardinals so far in primetime games, the Monday night, Thursday night, we just never did good. We always failed at it. So I'm not really happy with it either. The short week really sucks, but this game's going to come down to what Cardinal team we're going to see this game. Are we going to be the 7-0 Cardinals? Or are we going to be the last game in the second half of the game? I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint what Cardinal team we're going to be looking at. Like the best thing I can hang my hat on is that the Cardinals are 8-1 in the away, when we're the away team. So I guess that's a shiny toy that we can kind of hang our hat on. And that's one of the things a lot of fan bases were saying, that I would rather play on the road than be at home, which honestly, if you really think about it, is actually kind of sad that we could never have figured out why we're not able to play good at home. We hear the same excuse every day, or after each game, after each loss from Cliff Kingsbury, the same thing. Oh, we'll have to watch the tape. We'll have to figure it out. And we just never could figure it out. I don't know if it's lack of focus. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but it's pretty frustrating, especially as a fan who has been a fan since, they moved here to Arizona. But I'm gonna go with my Redbirds. I'm gonna play we're the away team. Obviously, you don't see too much confidence in my voice compared to when we had the NFC West, but I'm gonna have to hope and pray that this is going to be the year that we can turn the table and go deep into the playoffs. So I'm gonna go with my Redbirds here. I'm gonna say that this is gonna be a close game. I'm gonna say 21-17. I'm gonna say the Cardinals win.
Okay. All right. To answer Joe Baggs' question, how is Matthew Stafford doing according to from what Corey Davis sent me the $5 super chat?
Great question.
Yeah, he was limping there. Kind of just got rolled up on a little awkwardly, and his ankle kind of twisted. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about, and I think that also, if we're doing self-reporting here, you can't expect Matthew Stafford to be the one doing it. I honestly, myself, am a little bit more concerned about the tight end Tyler Higbee. I maybe shouldn't be, though, because when he went down, he was limping. He went into the tent, and then he came out and scored touchdowns. So I don't know, man. But Matthew Stafford should be all right.
Yeah, he should be. I mean, he was tough. He kind of like sucked it up and played through it. So he's got gutsy a little. So, all right. So we'll go on to that matchup with the Cardinals and Rams. Man, this could be an evenly fair game, but Cardinals have been like cold lately. They've been a cold team, and it's kind of hard for me to even trust them now. So it's like beginning of the season, I was starting to get convinced with them, but now I'm starting to get proven right about the Cardinals, man. Even AZ didn't listen to what I said. It can be late in the season, you guys can fold apart. And it took you quite a while to admit it that I was probably right at this point. But I feel like the Cardinals have some pressure. They are going to play the Rams in LA, but the Rams, for some reason, you guys won your division when you guys didn't even earn your division. We just beat you guys, and you just took it because the Cardinals blew it. So it was more like, who cares? But when I look at this matchup, the Rams are pissed. They lost to us. Usually when we beat a team like the Rams, they come off better than ever. So I think the Rams are just going to get pissed off. They're going to beat the Cardinals. And sorry to say it to all these AZ fans, I just think the Rams are just a better team right now, even with the loss to the Niners. They played some inspiring football. So I definitely got the Rams winning 24-17. It's just the Rams got something else to prove right now. So it could be anybody's ball game, but I just think the Rams are just a hot team, even with the loss. Cardinals are falling off. The colder you get, the you fall apart, and that's what I see out of Arizona. And Steezy, what do you think, man?
Man, I echo your guys' very same sentiments. You, CG, you, Joe. Maybe not so much as Mike, but I understand where he's coming from. I do want to say Arizona, just because I've been on record saying this. If I had to pick a team that I hate the most, it's the Rams, and so anything and everything Rams, it's kind of hard for me to root for them. I root for some of their players. They do have guys that I root for. Jalen Ramsey, one of my most favorite players to watch. But the more I think about it, I just really can't find anything that the Cardinals really have an advantage or an edge over the Rams. And I think Joe mentioned this, but literally every team in the NFC side was 4-1, or they went 4-1 in their last 5 games. The Cardinals were the complete opposite, 1-4. And usually the best teams in football, they find a way and they figure it out in December. It's usually not the opposite. It's usually not, you limp into the playoffs, on a cold streak. That's just not really the way to go. To me, the best football teams, they tend to play their best, in December. And I usually think, success in December is kind of indicative of how a team is going to go far into the playoffs. And I just think with the Cardinals, J.J. Watt's going to play, but he did just tore his labrum. He broke his shoulder, and a whole bunch of other things happened just a couple of months ago. And so even if he does play and provides a spark, he's definitely going to play with limited snaps. I don't anticipate anything more than 20 to 25 snaps. And so I think his spark is going to be limited. I think DeAndre Hopkins could have helped tremendously. He was here, but he won't even be back until at least the NFC Championship if you guys even make it that far. Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury, there's still no reason for me to trust them. And they didn't really change that perception in December. James Conner, we don't know if he's fully healthy. And so it's just kind of hard for me to go the Cardinals here. Like CJ and Joe mentioned as well, the Rams, they typically tend to play very well, especially coming after a loss. And so I just don't see them losing. I understand the Cardinals have been dominant on the road all year long. I understand the last time you guys were in LA, you guys held Cooper Kupp to his worst performance on the season, but Odell, he didn't play. He was there the last time you guys played the Rams in LA. And so I just don't know. There just aren't any advantages or edges that I see on the Cardinals. Things. I think that you guys are going to have to, come up with a few more plays like you guys did, in the first play against my Seattle Seahawks. You guys had a fumble return for a touchdown. I think you guys are going to need multiple of those or multiple things like that for you guys to really even have a chance. I don't see a blowout, but I just don't see the Cardinals really having this one. And so I think LA advances, and I think they advance to the tune of, I'm going to say 31 to Arizona 21.
Oh, that's fair enough. It kind of seems like either team, because it's kind of hard to choose, but I feel like the Rams, even with the loss to us, they have some momentum after this. Because usually when you win your division title and it's pretty much like a moral victory, like it's more like, who cares? Yeah, we won our division title, but we got the Arizona Cardinals. So we got to take care of them. So it's like, I mean, that's like we were giving Arizona the crown. We were going to say, hey, Arizona, you could take this. We took care of the Rams, and then you guys just blew it. Ugh.
Let me say something real quick. I appreciate you guys going against my team. I appreciate it because I remember every single time you guys do it. When we come back next week, you guys start saying something different. So appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I was just putting a sad face just to make sure everybody went against my team. Thank you so very much. All right, cool. I'm happy again. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. But anybody have any other questions, you can put it to the super chat or whatever, but we can go on the debate. Take out the broom and show it. Oh, man. I got a good victory dance, and it feels good for the Rams to get sweep. But, hey, they can still see us again. Maybe a third time we'll see you guys.
Hey, CG, I got for you and anybody, all the 49ers fans are actually here in the comment section. I want to ask this. Will you guys, this is a genuine question because I have seen it with other fan bases, will you guys continue to brag about the sweep if the Rams make it further in the postseason?
Why brag? It means nothing, I guess, at this point.
All right.
I mean, if you guys are getting further, what have we done? Just beating you guys is pretty much at the moment. So, yeah.
Exactly. Who wants to learn about their places as far as the picks go this season?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so we got other playoff games we can debate if you guys want to talk about them.
Yeah, we will after I do this. All right. All right, guys. So we did have a couple of substitutes this season, but just so you guys know, it was actually only CG and Steezy had subs this year, but their picks went to just your picks. There was one that Steezy was not here. We gave him all the underdogs. He went 3-0 that week, so that didn't work out. But okay, so in fourth place with a 20-18. By the way, this is only from week 5 on, and then we missed week 16. It was Christmas. Things were crazy. We had a Tuesday game, so it threw off everything. So 20-18 record. Steezy in fourth place, just over 500.
Last. Let's go.
In third place with a 22-16 record, you have Sheriff Joe Bags, third place, rounding it up. First place.
Oh boy.
With the number 1 picks, the pick champion of the NFC West Roundtable with a 28-10 record.
Wow.
CG.
No.
Yeah.
25-13 in second place, man. But CG absolutely lit it up on the picks this year, man.
Wow.
Usually I have some good suspicions of what I see out there, you know?
Yeah, man. It's
good stuff,
I can't
CG.
really take claim of Joe Stradamus over here, so.
Hey,
Good
So
stuff.
yeah, definitely, man. So we can mix up the topics of the concerning factors. Like, okay, for AZ, what do you feel about your Arizona Cardinals going into this Rams game? Like, what's the concerning?
Everything's the concern, man. Honestly, man, when it comes to this team, it like you guys were saying, man. I got optimism about my Cardinals game because we don't really know like what we're gonna be seeing Monday night. Like we really don't. Like I've been on record saying, "Oh my God, we're the hottest team out there," and we come out looking like poo. And then I'm like on the other side, I don't think we have a chance in here, and then we start winning. I don't get it. Now, granted, right now, I think the direction of this Cardinal team seems to be the regression. That's what seems to be happening. But I'm going to have to put my positive hat on and see, the Cardinals need to win this game. Like, legit. Like, they need to win this game. I know that there's a lot of fans that are going to be like, oh, we made it to the playoffs. We got to, hang our hat on that. But what I see as a Cardinals fan is I see us go 7-0 and freaking win on another meltdown. That's what I see as, and it's not cool, man. It's 3 straight years, and it's not just in the NFL for Cliff Kingsbury. It's into the entirety of his, collegiate career. It's been happening since he's been a coach in college. So, the trend needs to stop. Unfortunately, I'm not going to, go on a soapbox or stand on a table and say we need to fire him because I honestly don't think we're going to fire him because the Cardinals are the fan base that really likes to get those participation trophies. Like we're fine with, we're second place because next year we think we're going to be Super Bowl bound. But a lot of people don't like to think that Kyler Murray's contract is, or rookie contract is, is about to expire. We're going to have to extend him. That means a lot of big names aren't going to be signed, and we have to really, get our draft picks right get our free agency, pickups right. And it doesn't seem like Steve Keim's the guy to me. Honestly, I've never really liked him since I started my channel 3 years ago. But this is a game right now that's really going to decide the factor of what are we going to see? Like legit, what are we going to see from this fan base? It's going to be split down the middle. We're going to have a lot of people saying fire Cliff, and we're going to have some people saying, oh no, we're going to be fine. I don't know where I'm at right now. It's really going to depend on what's going to happen on Monday night, but there's a lot of fans that already think that we're going to be one and done. And it's kind of sad to see, but the Cardinals really didn't give us any positivity, in these last 4 or 5 games, losing the amount that we did lose to. So we're going to try to be positive as much as we possibly can and see what happens on Monday night. But if we somehow win, then obviously the direction and the positivity is going to go up the roof. But as of right now, it's shaky grounds. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Definitely. I mean, how do you feel about, I guess, one of your Cardinal fans, Javier Fuentes, said, how do you feel about AJ Green?
I mean, I don't mind him. I don't see him as a long-term guy. And I think a lot of people not see him as that, but my mindset is, okay, if we don't go to the Super Bowl this year or we don't win the Super Bowl this year, what are we going to do next year? Because my mindset is always, okay, who's going to be the replacement? What's our depth look like? And right now, when I did start this channel, one person that I wanted in the draft a few years back was CeeDee Lamb. I feel like that would have been a perfect asset for the Arizona Cardinals. Not only did we need a wide receiver when everybody was telling me I'm crazy because Christian Kirk is there, and now people know that Christian Kirk ain't the number 2 wide receiver that I've been talking about, but he had that connection with Kyler Murray, and I feel like that would have been a perfect segue because right now when DeAndre Hopkins is out, it's really obvious that we need that other person to step up, and we're just not getting it. I mean, AJ Green has some freakish catches. He had some really cool catches, and but that's kind of the extent of what it is. I don't see him as the leader. I don't see him as a future for the Cardinals. He might just be that bridge wide receiver that we're gonna now start thinking, okay, well, who's gonna be our number 2 for the next few years going through? So I like him. He's serviceable, but I mean, it is what it is. If we don't go far into the playoffs, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I guess your boy Lennon's asking about J.J. Watt coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I think we have, momentum coming our way with J.J. Watt. I mean, here's my thing. Like, I know that there's a thing that, if you have a certain player on the field, motivation, veteranship, it's a real thing. But I hate buying into it because I hate wrapping my mind around why is somebody making millions and millions of dollars and having to be motivated by a specific player? Like, I just don't get it. It's frustrating to me that we always have to hang our hat on, oh man, maybe we're overlooking this person, or maybe we just need JJ Watt. It's absolutely frustrating to me. Yeah, I'm excited that he's coming back, but I don't know, man. As you can tell, I'm pretty defeated, honestly. I hated the way this season ended. I was riding high with this Cardinal team, man. 7-0. At one point, we're 10-2, and we're kind of here. Well, we're 11-6 team right now. Yeah, I'll take that over, 1-15, or whatever the Jaguars, record is. I'll take that over them. But I don't know, man. I don't feel accomplished. Like, I feel empty inside, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, we're here, but guys, think about it, man. 33 years since we've been in Arizona. 33 years since we moved to Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals, and we've been in the playoffs 6 freaking times. So my frustration comes from the organization in general. My thought process isn't, oh, we had a successful season. If it's not a Super Bowl, or we're not going deep into a playoff, or we're not consistent year in, year out, I don't see this as, oh boy, here we go, because I've seen the trends of the Arizona Cardinals. We're in the playoffs 1 year, but we're rebuilding for 5 to 6 years. Like, that's what we've been seeing time and time again. So my frustration is pretty much at an all-time high. I'm not going to lie to you. 33 years in the Arizona and 6 times in the playoffs. That's definitely something where we got to look into the organization and saying what the really heck is going on, or what the crap is really going on with this organization. But I mean, I'm a Cardinal fan through and throughout. So we just gotta, sit here and see what happens.
Definitely. I guess there's a question asking for me about Debo Samuel. He's exactly as good as I expect him to be. I mean, he's finally stayed healthy for a full season. He's playing consistent. He's been our best player. He's plays pretty much any position on the offense. He can be our running back. He can be the wide receiver. He just showcased himself as a quarterback. So this guy's an athlete, if we want to put it all in words. And my thoughts on Juwan Jennings, I've been telling a lot of these Niner fans to not sleep on this guy. This guy has been the one guy that I've been praising about all offseason, and people were thinking I was smoking crack or something about this guy. I said he's going to be the number 3 receiver. I said he was going to be the number 3 receiver when it was all said and done at the end of the season. And now they're starting to listen. Now they're starting to say, hey, I remember you said that, and we were laughing at you. And now I'm just pretty much getting the last laugh out of this. So I've been pretty accurate when it came to the predictions. When I did say the Rams are going to win the division, I said that the Niners might be lucky to be in the playoffs, maybe at 3rd place. And Pari was right about that one too. So I know I was a little off a little bit by 1 loss. I mean, I think I had 11 wins for us, but it was just 10 wins. So I'll give it credit where it's due. I think we have a lot of momentum, and I feel like our weakness has been our secondary. And the offensive line's been okay. Jimmy G is who he is, a game manager. Just run the ball. That's all we got to get from him. I was hoping a lot from Trey Lance, but doesn't look like we're giving him a chance just yet. Let Jimmy finish out the season and see what happens. But let's see. Steezy, if Pete leaves or gets fired, who do you replace him with?
You know, I'm a little bit more optimistic as far as PKO's job status. I think, you know, there's still some unfinished business. And that said, I wouldn't be opposed to him going. Like, if he decides to retire, if he decides to resign, or if he somehow gets fired from Jody Allen, I wouldn't be completely opposed to that. But I also just wouldn't be completely opposed to him just running it back one more year. But I guess in this hypothetical, if he was to leave, a guy like Dixon, a guy like Jim Harbaugh, a guy like Brian Flores, maybe an Eric Bieniemy. There's a lot of out there, a lot of guys out there that could definitely, I feel like, you know, fill in and you know, fill in admirably. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm not going to put too much attention. I'm not going to put too much energy towards that. Those are the guys that I would see Seattle make a run for if that ends up happening.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. CG, does your matchup this week make you see some flashback? Yeah, it does. It brings an old rivalry. It's one of the best rivalries of the time. Like, if you're talking the 90s, that was the last time it was ever relevant. So it does give you that flashback vibe. But I just uploaded a Michael Irvin interview by Rich Eisen, and he is a lot worried about the 49ers. He said he would be okay playing the Arizona Cardinals, then he would play the Niners. That tells you how much he's so worried about it. And, you know, I feel like this team, it does bring I like the old rivalry, just the Niners and Packers too. When the Packers were playing before, you had the Niners rivalry also, but then it came into the 2000s, and now it's still going on a little bit. So you got the Niners and Cowboys. It goes way back in the 70s, so it does bring you flashbacks. But let's get on one or two more questions, then we could end it from here. Okay, Joe, how do you feel about the 12-5 record?
At the beginning of the season, I actually predicted the Rams at 11 wins, so it's hard to be mad when I undershot the prediction. Of course, watching the season unfold and watching this team play, it did feel like we could have pulled off more than 12 wins, especially if you consider that 3-game losing streak. But overall, man, 12-5 is nothing to be upset about at all. And I think anybody that's sad that the Rams got to 12 wins is ridiculous, because that's tied for what? 3rd best record in the NFL. I mean, hard to be mad about it. So, yeah, win the NFC West, 12 wins. I'm feeling good.
Man, I don't know about that. I guess it's okay to feel optimistic about your Cardinals, Lennon, but to be real honest, man, if that happens, then hey, that would be the strangest feeling in all of history that you guys finally did something. That would be the strange feeling, but AZ would probably have a strange feeling, right?
Yeah, man. This is the thing, man. We're seeing this, and I get it. Like, everybody wants to be optimistic about their team. I'm right there with you, but we gotta we gotta like stop with the Super Bowl bound thing. Like we really do. We gotta. What we need to do as fans is we need to hold this organization accountable. Like that's legit what we need to do. And however we need to do it. If I need to start a freaking petition and get freaking Steve Keim out, the best thing you can do is start, get money out of their damn pockets. And that's really the only thing that we can start making some changes. A lot of people are very optimistic and saying stuff like Super Bowl bound. Like I would say, let's pump the brakes on that and let's wait to see what happens against the Rams. Like before we do anything, let's wait till then, because obviously we're gonna catch some sort of momentum. We can kind of go from there, but. Man, I'm really upset about this Cardinal organization right now. And this goes past Cliff Kingsbury. This goes to like Steve Keim and Michael Bidwell in terms of, 34 years in Arizona, making it 6 times. And we're just not seeing the bigger picture. And there's just something more that needs to be done. But I'm not even going to mention Super Bowl unless we even get past the Rams.
I'm not even thinking about the same way either. Okay, Joe, back.
I just wanted to jump in on that real fast. So, I mean, obviously, the Arizona Cardinals, obviously, with their lack of enthusiasm coming from the fan base right now, it does give me a little bit more confidence, I'll be honest, because when you see the opponent fan base, they're like, I don't know, guys. That feels good. One thing I do want to mention, Javier left a comment saying that if the Cardinals win the Super Bowl, he will jump off the roof. I just want that on record. I will hold you to that. So this game should be good, man. We talk about it all the time, and this is probably the last time that we'll get to be able to say this season, is this is an NFC West versus NFC West game. Anything can happen. These teams know each other. We can say, we can go all the way back to all kinds of stuff. Rams are 9-1 in the last 10, but we split this season. The last time that we played in LA, the Cardinals beat the Rams. So there's so many things go into this, but ultimately I would say the lack of confidence is unfounded in this one because you are playing against the LA Rams. And I would say if I were to end the sentence, if the Rams lose this game, because if they were to lose this game, I would say it's because of mistakes by Matthew Stafford. And let's not pretend like that's not a real possibility, that we see some mistakes from this offense and the Cardinals take advantage of it. So I guess oddly enough, I want to just tell the Cardinals fan base, you all got to be a little bit more optimistic going into this one, not be just Rams just blowing them out and then just, moving on to Tampa Bay or whatever it happens to be. I think it'll be a decent game.
Yeah, I think right now we're all kind of, obviously we want to win. I don't think that I'm gonna sit here and say, oh, the Rams are gonna win. I'm having a little bit of hope at the end of the tunnel. But my thing is that, the expectation, you know what I mean? The expectations of this season that we've been dragged through the dirt as fans so far, is starting off so hot and always getting punched in the face type of stuff. Like I think, what is that saying? Like something about like you'll never be disappointed if you something, whatever. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like we're just kind of like we're going in for the ride. Let's go Cardinals type of thing. But man, in realism, right now, what we've seen these last 5 or 6 games, it's real baffling to see it happen time and time again. And the fan base being completely cool with it. Being like, oh wow, man, we're in the playoffs. Let's go. First time since 2015. And it's like, well, bro, like we're seeing this downfall. It's happening every single year. The number one goal is to get the Super Bowl. Like that's what all our teams are trying to do outside of the NFC West. That is the main prize of a season. You play the game to win the Super Bowl. Yes, we made it to the playoffs, and I feel like we were just hanging our hats so much on playoffs. Here we go. Here's the check mark. And we just lost all sense of urgency. We lost all sense of, man, we need to play football Sundays, Thursdays, and Mondays because we made it to the playoffs. And I feel like Cliff Kingsbury feels like his job is safe because that was his goal for the year. And check mark. That's what I feel like. And it sucks to feel like that about your head coach.
That's the thing on the other end of it is like, because the season that the Cardinals had last year, like, it's one thing, like the Rams in 2017. Yes, I was just stoked to make the playoffs, even though we got booted round 1 by the Atlanta Falcons. But that was coming off of a stretch of just terrible Rams teams,
Yeah.
So McVay comes in, go to the playoffs that year, get booted round 1. It was like, you know what? We made the friggin' playoffs. But then the very next year, it was, okay, now what's that next? Like now it's Super Bowl, and it made it to the Super Bowl. And then at that point it was, well, now we have to win. Otherwise we're going backwards kind of thing. So no, I get it. I'm 100% with you. You can only accept playoffs when that is like Like if next year the Jets made the playoffs and then they got smoked round one, it's like, hell yeah, Jets, you did it. Like, you know,
Yeah, 100%.
It's different for us. We have different standards. We're NFC West teams. Every single team here is entering the season with Super Bowl on their mind.
Yeah, and especially when you have like two, I'm sorry, my bad, CG. When you have like 2 or 3 like of our teams making the playoffs, and we're one of the teams that don't make the playoffs, it gets a little flipping tables type of mentality. So, you know, you just want better, man. Or I want better for this Arizona Cardinals, you know, organization, and we'll see what happens. What's up, CG? My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I didn't even say nothing yet, but it was already slipping on my head. Yeah, like I didn't expect Super Bowl in 2019. I was just happy for us to get in the playoffs and staying healthy. And all of a sudden, we were the hot team and we got further. And even though we didn't win the Super Bowl, at least we got further. But this year, it's all about getting to the playoffs. The hot team plays better late in the season, and that's the team you don't want to play. And maybe there's some sense that maybe we are the hot team, but I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because this Dallas Cowboys team, they may have played not good competition. They dominate their division. Maybe the competition they play is average, but I wouldn't sleep on them because our secondary can be a little question mark. I'm concerned how we're going to be able to handle them and stop them. So that would be the challenging part.
Yeah,
Hey, Mike.
go ahead.
Oh, my bad, Joe. Go ahead.
Mike, you're good.
I was just gonna say, if you expect disappointment, you won't be disappointed. But that little soliloquy you went on, that's what I've been trying to tell my fan base over here in Seattle, because I've actually taken heat from older Seahawks fans telling me that I'm spoiled because I wasn't there during the 90s when Seattle struggled. And I understand that. I recognize that. I respect that. But at the end of the day, everything's relative to expectations, right? Like you can only be happy with just making the playoffs. You know, Joe made a great point. Like if the Jets were to make the playoffs next year, no matter how much they get blown out by in the first round, that's an accomplishment, just making the playoffs, because the Jets are the Jets. But when you're talking about powerhouses like all of us, when you're talking about the best division of football, Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, LA Rams, Seattle Seahawks, all these teams, I mean, obviously, yeah, every team expects to make the Super Bowl. Everybody wants to win the Super Bowl. Everybody wants to win the championship. But it's just like, at the end of the day, I mean, what are the expectations, revolving or surrounding your football team? And you kind of go off of that. When you look at the Arizona Cardinals, yes, you guys hadn't made the playoffs since 2015, but after you guys started off 7-0, expectations started to go above just the playoffs. It started to go above and beyond that. So although you guys passed, check mark, I mean, there's other check marks that guys, kind of, yes, not forgot, but I feel like some of your guys' fans have kind of forgot that, there's other check marks that we need to kind of cross off. And when looking at this football team fully healthy, there's a step above the playoffs that this team has to get to for you guys to really be satisfied. And because you guys are in the position that you're in, I can't blame you for feeling the way that you're feeling. And so I'm totally with you, because I feel the same way with my Seahawks fan base. I've been telling people time and again, and I still keep getting that same comment, oh, I'm spoiled. And it's just like, okay, well, I mean, are you content with just making the playoffs? Because I know, just like we're not players on the field, but as a fan, we all want to, win that championship, that elusive trophy. And so making the playoffs, that's just not enough sometimes, And so I don't think that means you're spoiled, but it just means that you're aware and you acknowledge the expectations, surrounding your football team.
Exactly. 100%, man. And yeah, I think you said that beautifully, man. I was starting off 7-0. That's kind of what the high that we're talking about. You know what I mean? We were brought up like a roller coaster, and then we got shot back down to earth. And the thing is too, it's just 3 years. This is the third year of Cliff Kingsbury. So like if 3 years in Cliff Kingsbury and now expectations is playoffs, like that's very sad organization. Like let's really look into what our expectations are for this organization. This is the third year of Cliff Kingsbury, and everybody keeps saying, well, we were a 3-13 team, before Cliff Kingsbury came in, but realistically, that was a whole different ball game. It was Steve Wilkes that had no position of being a head coach. We had Mike McCoy being probably the worst offensive coordinators in the world, a complex book that he thought everybody was going to be able to learn. That was the reason why Josh Rosen was thrown into the fire and saying, here you go. And that's one of the main reasons why we were 3-13. The next year we were 5 2.5 games better. Is that really an improvement? But of course, if you're going to have a coach for 3 years, you're going to have improvement. And a lot of people keep getting to me and being like, oh, look at this. Cliff Kingsbury has like the top, offense in a long time. Obviously, this was midseason. Top offense, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, yeah, but he's been a coach for 3 freaking years. This is the same system, the same, not same player, but I mean, the same scheme that he's been running this whole time. If we're barely, expecting right now, 3 years in, playoffs. I just don't get it, man. I just don't understand it. It just, obviously I'm getting frustrated. My bad.
Well, you also got to consider from the Rams perspective, the Cardinals did something very similar to what this Rams team has done in recent seasons, which is go out and spend in free agency and get big names. So I think that the addition of some of those guys as well, I think factors into the disappointment, especially if it's a first round exit. I wanted to address the question that I asked earlier to Niners fans and to CG about if the Rams were to go further in the playoffs than the 49ers, would they still brag about sweeping the Rams? And the answer that I saw off to the side here is overwhelmingly yes, which is, honestly, I don't have a response to that because I wasn't ready for it. I think that's very surprising. I think that's ridiculous. I think if you guys get booted round 1 and the Rams move on and you guys are still bragging about beating us, then borderline pathetic. I'll be honest with you guys, whatever. I have no other response than that. But I did want to mention also, we talked about it entering the season, I believe, that the 49ers are 1 year behind the Rams. Like Rams go to a Super Bowl, lose it. Following year, don't make the playoffs. Similar kind of path that the Rams have taken. So if that were to continue this season, what would happen based on what the Rams playoff picture looked like last year would be to win a road playoff game and then get booted by the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. So if that is the trend that continues, that is your future fate, CG. I don't know how to break it to you other than that.
We'll see about it, man. We got to get through Dallas. Green Bay, we've had their history against them. There's been those good classic games lately against the Green Bay Packers, and I know Aaron Rodgers is so fed up with losing to us on a playoff consistent basis. And if that's how you look at the future, then maybe the future is probably just a dream. Maybe Aaron Rodgers will never give over the hump in the playoffs because he's only beaten us when we're at our worst. When we're at our best, Green Bay doesn't want none of that smoke. Green Bay, they have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Yeah, Lambeau Field may be the hardest place to play. It's probably the coldest place in all of America because the negative degrees and all that stuff, that frozen tundra, nobody wants to play there during that season. And what's a better team to play the Packers when it comes to a team that runs the ball and runs it consistently better than the 49ers? I mean, if anybody has a chance to knock the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs, it's the 49ers, man.
I mean, I disagree, but I do respect your opinion there. But if Aaron Rodgers is going to get booted from the playoffs, man, we know it's not going to be against you guys because it'll be in the NFC Championship game. That's what he likes to do, is lose those. David, by the way, man, if y'all are bragging from the couch, that's hilarious to me. I just want that to be known.
It's all good, man. But everybody's got – I don't know about bragging about it, but hey, we beat you guys twice. But if you guys get further, that's kudos for you guys. But sometimes our fans like to brag about something. It's like how those Raider fans are. They brag about beating a team that got to the playoffs.
You were the one last week talking about your rings. When's the most recent one? It's been a while. I get it. You guys brag about ridiculous things. I get it. It's fine.
Bro, CG
just like the Cowboys.
CG, I wasn't even born yet the last time y'all won.
Damn.
I was like 5 years old. I was about 5 years old when we won the Super Bowl that time. That was, dude, this jersey I got right here, this is old. This is just like a new throwback I just got from Niner Sickness, man. I got to give him a huge shout out, but it's a good throwback jersey. It's not Nick Bosa. It's Brian Young, man. That dude was a beast.
Do you guys like how in our group thread, I refused to talk trash at halftime?
Yeah.
Dude, I was about to go silent and say we're done.
Why? See, in this comment section over here, this is exactly why, because it'll come back on you, man.
Yeah. No,
hey, Joe,
100%.
matter of fact, that reminds me. I got to ask. So I know on Twitter, a lot of people were kind of making a fuss about this, but what did you think of Sean McVay celebrating with the players in the end zone?
Dude, that was ridiculous. Stay on the friggin' sideline. What are you doing, man? Get out of there, man. What are you doing, man? Like, he just gets too excited. I get it, whatever, but he can't be doing, like, the second I see a ref pushing him back, it was like, Sean, get over there. What are you doing, man? No, I think that's ridiculous. He gets a little too excited, and I guess you can also take it from the standpoint since that happened, and then we got smoked the rest of the game. It's like, come on, man. Makes us look bad. Whatever. He's just happy.
All right, so you guys got any last final conclusions before we end the stream, or you guys want to continue on a little more?
Actually, one question, and I'm just kind of curious to hear from your guys' perspectives, but has anything changed about where you guys see Russell Wilson going, Pete Carroll going? I know we didn't end up making the playoffs, but I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts. Like, did anything change, or do you guys see any sort of different scenarios popping out? I'm just genuinely curious.
I think Russ is staying, but I do think Pete's going. I think either retiring or going. I still so strongly feel about it. I think it's done for Pete Carroll, but I think Russ is staying now. Like that, my mind has changed on that.
Yeah. Okay.
It would surprise me if they pick Pete Carroll, even though he's got maybe little years left in him. It would be smart to keep Russell Wilson and give him an offensive coordinator at least, you know?
I'm still sticking with it, actually. I think that they're both gone. I think that the Seahawks, I think that they're in a great position right now to kind of tear down and see what they can do for the next era. But I still have Russell Wilson going to a team like the Broncos. I feel really good about that, actually. I think that the Broncos make a big push. We already know that they are stockpiling picks to go after a veteran quarterback, and I think he would be a great option for them out in Denver. I think that his personality would fit in really well in the Denver fan base, and they would eat him up, man. That would be great. It would be a perfect match. I think he would really like it out here in Colorado, being with the Broncos. But as far as the coaching situation goes, I think it's worth noting for both the Cardinals and the Seahawks that if they do choose to move on from their coaches this year, there are some pretty strong options. I mean, you can go after a guy like Flores or Bieniemy, and I think either of those teams would immediately upgrade if they chose either of those guys. So there's options this year, and you don't know ever who's going to come up next year or anything like that. But hey, if y'all want Raheem also, go ahead.
Oh man, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like one of those.
That's actually what makes me upset, because there are so many good options out there that I don't think anybody would hire Raheem from us anymore. There's too many good choices, man. It sucks.
Yeah, everybody just wants him out of the NFC West. I mean, if you guys had to move on and start from scratch, here's a better way how you can rebuild your team. You can either make a trade offer with the Raiders and just get Derek Carr for that trade and save some money and actually build a team around him, which he's been capable of building the team, and probably want to sell some tickets for Las Vegas. They probably want to get their entire fan base back and get Russell over there. Russell would probably be a big deal down there. You can get Derek Carr to go at Seattle and build this culture and this new coach, and they can probably build this talent, and you guys will save a lot of cap space. I think that would be the logical choice, that you swap quarterbacks, but you save a little money, because Derek Carr is like, what is it, $25 million, maybe like $10 or $8 million less than Russell, and you can still build your team. And it won't take that long for you guys to be competitive, you know?
Wait, I'm assuming you're implying that on top of Derek Carr, there will be at least a minimum of 2 or 3 first-round picks, right? Because we're not just going to swap Russell Wilson for Derek Carr just because, or for the sake of saving money. I don't think the savings are really going to be that immense. I think Derek Carr's cap number is around 28, 29 million. Russell's at 34, 35. So that's really only a net savings of $5 million. But I'm really hoping you meant to include those first round picks.
Yeah, the multiple draft picks. You probably get another first. You get a first and maybe another first next year, and then you get yourself some extra stockpiled picks and build your team around.
Cap has to be considered, though, in the compensation. That's why the Rams gave first-round picks to the Detroit Lions in that in our quarterback trade, is because they had to take on the cap. So if that were going to be a situation, the Raiders very well could say, well, we'll give you one first-round pick because we're going to have more money on our books now because of your quarterback's more expensive. So I think that's something to consider as well.
Well, yeah, but Russell Wilson is way ahead of Derek Carr. So, I mean, I don't You make a great point, but I just don't think that would really be a detriment if Vegas didn't want to pull the trigger on that deal. But because they're in the playoffs now, maybe they choose to keep Derek Carr around. I mean, let's not forget back in 2016, he had an MVP, finna break his. So who knows? But at this point, everything's speculation, I guess.
Okay. All right. So we'll get on the final conclusion and end the stream. It's been going pretty longer, man. I'll give you guys your final say. And Joe Bag, you go first.
What's going on, guys? Follow Ram Showcase at Ram Showcase, Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/Ram Showcase. I'm at Sheriff Joe Bags everywhere. I'm trying to be more active on Twitter, so maybe that'll be the good spot to follow me. Other than that, subscribe to Ram Showcase on YouTube. The Rams going to beat up on the Cardinals this weekend, or I guess next week. Friggin' Monday games. Lame. Hate it.
All right, AZ.
What's up, y'all? So yeah. You can find me on AZ Sports Fan. You can actually Google me now, AZ Sports Fan. You should be able to find everything now. So that's actually pretty exciting. So yeah, anything there, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all my videos should be on Google now, AZ Sports Fan. That's all you got to do. All right.
All right, Steezy.
Man, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's been a while. I think this is my first appearance in the year 2022. So to everybody that tuned in, thank you so much. Like these guys said, at the AZ Sports Fan, at Ram Showcase, at CG Ruthless Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe. Show all my guys some love. Last but not least, you can find me at Steezy A Smith. I've actually been at a studio for the last, 3 weeks. I haven't been in studio since before Christmas, but I am looking forward to getting back by the end of this week. Start putting some content out there again. It's been forever since I posted on YouTube. So to everybody that's been hanging in there, thank you so much. I got so much in store, so much to come out for you guys. I'm really sad. It's unfortunate that I didn't get to host any of these. That's definitely something that I had in mind, but unfortunately, life had other plans. And so not only did I have to deal with COVID, I suffered a foot injury, and I'm still kind of healing from that. But as soon as everything's kind of back in place by the end of this week, I promise there's going to be a whole lot of content coming out. I got big plans for you guys, so definitely stay tuned. At Steezy A Smith, STEZYASMIH. In the meantime, I have been using Twitter a lot, so if you guys use, be sure to find me there. Same handle down below right here. Steezy A Smith. Jay Shaw.
All right. Okay, guys. Appreciate you guys on the roundtable. It's great. We're looking forward to this. I want to put myself in and just put a last ending of it. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody else. This NFC West roundtable has been a great experience. I've been able to host the stream on different occasions, and it's been a blessing. The opportunities get better. I feel like this has potential for it to be bigger next year. So this division is awesome. I definitely wanted the Cowboys in the playoffs, and I got what I wanted. It was like a late Christmas gift or early birthday gift, if that's what I can say better. But and the bottom of my heart, I thank every one of you guys, AZ Sports Fan, for giving me the opportunity. And Ram Showcase, he's been nothing but respect for me. Steezy A Smith has been a really cool, classy dude. I mean, I enjoy working with you guys. You guys have been awesome. You guys have been really great. And it's good that we're building a commodity of this division, and we like talking about our teams. We like to represent this entire squad to the fullest. And it's a great year to just say that the NFC West is just one of the best divisions in football, if not the best. I mean, it's just better than every other division. I just thank you guys. All right, guys. Appreciate it, man. So, as always, CG Ruthless Sports is out, and the AZ Sports Fans out, Steezy A Smith's out, and Ram Showcase is out. And as always, go Niners.
Go Rams.
Go hard.